In Activity 3, Inside a Seed, students compared dry seeds to seeds that have been soaked overnight in water. They find that they can open the soaked seeds and then discover the plant embryo and the seed food that will nourish it. From the kit, you will need Activity Sheet 3, magnifiers, pea seeds, pinto bean seeds, plastic trays, inside a seed transparency, and a fluted planter tray. You will also need to provide overhead projector and tap water. Make a copy of Activity Sheet 3 for each student. Place 40 pinto bean seeds and 40 pea seeds in a planter tray with lukewarm water about an inch above the seeds. Soak the seeds for about 24 hours. Each team of 2 will need a magnifier, a plastic tray, a dry pinto bean, a dry pea, a soaked pinto bean, and a soaked pea. To begin the activity, ask the class, what do you think is inside a seed? Lead a discussion encouraging students to respond to each other's ideas. Distribute a magnifier and a tray with a dry pinto bean and a dry pea to each team of 2. Challenge students to open the dry seeds to see what's inside. They will most likely not be able to open the seeds. Tell students that the seed coat is the covering that protects the seed until it is ready to grow. Further explain that a seed must take in water and the temperature of the soil should be warm for it to grow. Next, distribute a soaked pinto bean to each student and instruct the students to open up the soaked seeds and look inside. Remind students to work carefully and save all the parts of the seeds that they find. Encourage students to use their magnifiers to examine the seed parts more closely and tell them to look at their teammates' seeds also and compare them to their own. Begin a discussion by asking, how are the soaked seeds different from the dry seeds? Students should have found the soaked seeds to be larger and softer, coming apart easily. Next, ask, what is inside the seeds? Students should see that there are 2 halves of each pinto bean and the new plant beginning to grow on one of the halves. Project the inside a seed transparency. Point out and name the seed coat, the 2 halves of the seed, and the new plant, which is the plant within the seed that is starting to grow. Ask students to check and find these parts on their own seeds. Encourage students to look again if they missed the new plant. After the students have studied their seeds, ask students, what do you think the job of the seed coat is? Then ask, did the seed coat of the soaked pinto bean protect it? Why not? Students should understand that the seed coat protects the seed while it is sleeping. Point out that the seed coat only needs to protect the seed until it wakes up. After that, the plant needs to grow, so the coat must be soft enough for the plant to push through. Ask students, what do you think the new plant will do? Then ask, what do you think the job of the material in the 2 halves of the seed is? Tell students that the 2 halves of the seed store food for the new plant to live on until it gets big enough to make its own food. This is called seed food. Next, distribute a soaked pea and a copy of Activity Sheet 3 to each student and have students place the peas on their trays. Allow students time to take the peas apart and examine them with their magnifiers. Then have them draw the opened pea seeds on their activity sheets. Stimulate a discussion by asking, how are the peas like the pinto beans? Students should observe that both peas and pinto beans have a seed coat, 2 halves of the seed, and a new plant starting to grow inside them. To conclude the activity, discard the seed parts. Wash and dry the plastic trays and the planter tray in which you soaked the seeds and return the materials to the kit. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science readers, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.